Hi everyone, it's Victor speaking, and I'm trying to position myself so that you can see the background picture because I chose that for a reason. Basically, today we're going to be speaking a lot about Mercury because the week is going to be starting with a Mercury Kazimi, and I wanted to kind of demonstrate with a picture that we've got Hermes, the god of messages. Basically, the messenger is stepping out from the galactic center and basically bringing the information down to the Earth. So, and that's going to be a message which I kind of want to share today with you. So, but before we go into what it means to have a Mercury Kazimi this week, I wanted to share what actually Kazimi means in a chart. So, Kazimi is when the sun and another planet is within 17 minutes. So there are the degrees. Let's say that your sun is on 16 degree of 27 minutes. So that little number above the degree, that's going to be your minute. And it means that the planet is so close to the sun, it's basically being in the heart of the sun. Now, in a natal chart, it really talks about talent and elevation, a skill. Basically, you are embraced by the king, right? Basically, you are sitting on his lap. So it really talks about some type of opportunities in Mercury territories, which could be about transactions, sales, business, communication, writing, speaking abilities, and so forth. Now, Mercury does form Kazimi quite often. I mean, once or twice a year. Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn are pretty rare. Moon and Venus and Mercury, they tend to be meeting the sun a lot more. Let's not forget that Mercury doesn't even go further than 29 degree from the sun. Now, this Sun and Mercury conjunction is basically a change over time. When Mercury moves from setting behind the sun in the west to rise before the sun in the east. So basically, that's when basically it changes from being an evening star to a morning star. Right. So, and when Mercury is within 17 arc of the sun, this is what we call as Kazimi in astrology. And somehow that sun brings some type of illuminations and enlightenment to that Mercury. So it's like Mercury is sitting very close by to the king of the heaven, the king of the heavens. And the sun is going to be whispering some very important information or giving you very unique insight into your ears, into Mercury's ears. So if you are able to be awake when Mercury actually becomes Kazimi, then try to be listening and try to understand something within yourself. Now, this Kazimi moment pretty much lasts for about 8 hours, and you're gonna have to check wherever you know where you are, what time exactly it's gonna be happening for you. But this Kazimi moment is kind of a communicational awakening. So it is a lot easier to become attentive. It's a lot easier to formulate some of the words, or it's a lot easier to actually hear some other people's insights, or even listening to your inner gut as well. So it really depends on you how you're going to be dealing with all the information what you receive from your inner gut. And the reason why also this Mercury is very prominent, because this is the day when it moves into the sign of Taurus, right? So we are, and I've spoken about Taurus a lot when in the Venus video. So if you want to gain a little bit more knowledge about what Taurus really represents in your chart, then I recommend looking at that video. But let's just summarize what Mercury means here, though. So Mercury is all about your mind. It is your daily habits and daily activities, the way we think, the way we communicate with others. Now, Taurus is very practical, very determined, stubborn sign. So our way of thinking can slow down quite a lot. So we had Mercury going through Aries, and maybe we had bursts of information, rushing towards us, or our mental, the way how we processed information was very rapid and very quick. And now this is more about slowing down and looking at the real plans. It's about kind of making a choice among all the ideas which we came up with in the last two weeks, and looking at which one we can value the most. So there is this practical perspective to our way of thinking. um, this is not necessarily about being so imaginative or being so wishful. We know that things cost money. We tend to be taking a little bit of a back seat while Mercury moves into the sign of Taurus. And instead of having these wanderer moments, or having, um, like these rapid thoughts and these wandering conversations, we're gonna be kind of processing them, and we're gonna treat these thoughts more like a gift, or we want to be having something around stability as well. So we tend to be taking our time, we tend to be planning our path, or just planning ahead a little bit. It's all about focusing on the strong foundation, which eventually we can benefit from in the future. So, as I mentioned, Taurus is quite a practical sign. And I would say that Mercury in Taurus is very much about common sense, right? So that's why we don't have the imaginative part to it. Taurus is more connected to the material world. So there is an extra kind of emphasis on thinking about money, thinking about our stability more, as for instance we did in the sign of Aries. Maybe in the sign of Aries we spend the money, right? We believe that we wanted the message to come across, we wanted to prove the point. Now it's more about being a little bit cautious, right? So this isn't a time for fighting by words, or using harsh words. This is about choosing the right words and using them at the right place as well. So, Taurus is all about tangible results. So, Mercury, let's say if it wants a business transaction, it does want to think about the material side of things. So I want to be able to hold what I was thinking about. It's not just, as I said, imagination, right? So it's instead of coming up with some creative new ways of thinking and doing things, we're going to be sticking to what we know works really well, right? We know that Mercury is a very flexible planet. So it's going to become a little bit more rigid here. Or at least, less flexible than, for instance, in any of the air signs. Um, Taurus is a very focused sign. It doesn't really get sidetracked easily. So during this transit, we've got a increased ability to solidify our plans, or to get support, or give kind of a shoulder to others. And we want to be making a major progress as well, but we know it takes time. So our interactions can become a lot calmer, a lot more purposeful. We want to keep the drama away from ourselves. We just want to be keeping our eyes on the prize, basically. But before actually we move on, I think it would be helpful to talk about the types of Kazimis we've got. So we've got basically the interior and the exterior Kazimi. So the interior Kazimi occurs when actually Mercury joins the Sun partway through its retrograde cycle. So as I said, Mercury never goes further than 29 degrees away. So imagine this is your sun, and then Mercury moves away, and then it comes backwards. And then eventually it's going to go backwards, again 29 degrees, and then it's coming back to the sun, right? So that is what we're going to be calling an interior Kazimi. This time around, we actually have got an exterior Kazimi, because exterior Kazimi occurs when Mercury and the sun joins together, but this time on the other side of the sun, furthest away from Earth. So this occurs when Mercury is actually in a direct motion. Mercury is going to go retrograde around the 29th of May, which I'm going to be speaking about anyway in a different video. So Mercury has got a very interesting path on the sky, which I'm not going to describe all the 8 phases of Mercury movements. Maybe one day we can make a video about that. But the key symbolic difference between the interior and the exterior Mercury is that Mercury is said to be in the underworld during the interior conjunction. Therefore, we tend to be bringing more insight from our shadow self, or we tend to be shedding light on areas that are quite hidden somehow. The interior Kazimi is actually an opportunity to get clear about some of the more uncomfortable or comforting things that have been kind of suppressed. Now, the exterior Kazimi tends to work the opposite way, and it brings us insights from more the conscious realm. So if I want to translate that to you, actually, as I said, we've got an exterior Kazimi happening on the 19th. It might indicate that we're going to be getting insights from the world rather than something from from the back of our minds. By the way, the Mercury phase is very much relates to the moon cycles. So, it's like a cosmic marriage between the sun and the moon. So Mercury and the sun, Kazimi, is something like that. It is actually marking a fresh start, a fresh cycle, and we can really set some type of new intentions as well when it comes. Why is that? Because the sun purifies Mercury. So it can really reset the way how you think or you approach things. So as I said, it's like a new moon phase. It is the union of the spirit and the matter. If we look at the new moon, right, the sun and the moon. So when the Kazimi happens between Mercury and the sun, basically this union is going to be all about seeding of thoughts and inspired wisdom. And that could assist us to connect, with people or even with new ideas as well. You might even, Kazimi, as I said, is all about talent. So you might feel that you've got better understanding skills today or better writing skills. So if you are writing a poem or if you are writing a novel, make sure that you do this on this day, because actually it is a brilliant one for those. But also it's great to make some type of business transactions also. I wanted to mention that Mercury in Taurus can really bring us, some bits and bobs around fraud, money fraud, and we can be communicated quite a lot about those. By the way, I did make a video, Mercury moving into Taurus. So I'm going to link it here in case you haven't missed that video, because I also spoke about each of the Mercury transits in each houses as well. But Mercury Kazimi is extremely good to seed better mental habits and routines as well, which can actually lead to a healthier outlook in life. So you want to be asking yourself a few questions. What sorts of mental states would I like to see developed in the near future, in this 9-10 month cycle? Or what better routines I want to be creating, or what better habits do I want to see myself establishing in my daily life? Is there any skill I want to be improving? Because brilliant day for that. Is there any way I want to be improving my mindset? So do I want to have a lot more positive mindset? Brilliant day to kind of reprogram your belief system as well, right? So it's all about setting a tone to not just for the week ahead, but for a 9-month period, basically. Okay, so that's what really Mercury Kazimi could bring us. Now, Mercury is the star of the week. We're going to be speaking about Mercury transits continuously. So, as I said, the star of the week is definitely Mercury. One of the major aspects is going to be making is going to be conjuncting Uranus on the 24th of April. Now, this is quite an exciting and a very stimulating energy. So it really could bring plenty of new ideas, or we can discover some new techniques, or we can even have new approaches of how to produce things. The produce is a very important word here because, as we said, it's happening in Taurus, which is all about tangible results. But at the same time, that Uranus and Mercury conjunction wants you to have an open mind as well. So creating some type of capacity for assimilation, and probably does give a higher state of alertness as well to to create something exciting. So it can also talk about wanting to get out of the rigid thoughts of the past. So it's crucial that we're gonna break out of any type of mode. We don't want to be fitting any shape and color. We are all about unique expressions of our true desires. And we can have a very extraordinarily sharp perception, which can help you to study or to even learn complex or even scientific subjects as well. That Taurus is all about self-worth. So that Uranus actually can give a hand to Mercury to believe that I can take anything, I can learn anything what I want to. It's just all about having a flexible, open mind. And then it helps to absorb anything which is basically coming your way, right? But because it's happening in the sign of Taurus, we need to put that into practice as well. So it's not just about sitting behind a book and then I'm going to be studying that, but I'm going to get out there and, I'm going to start planting those seeds. Remember, we also have got a Kazimi as well, or we had a Kazimi as well recently. So Mercury has started its new phase, which means that, I can get out there and plant the seeds in the garden if I want to. By the way, this could also bring a nice shift in the weather as well, or there could be a change of wind, basically. I love the expression change of wind because Mercury does rule over wind and Uranus represents something which is about radical changes, right? So it could really bring in something which is going to be suddenly shifting in the society as well. Um, it is might be very helpful to understand something, what is going on around yourself as well. It might be the fact that you are very nervous about something, or maybe it's the fact that you can even have an accident in the garden or using, some tools, for instance, there. You might want to be paying attention to that. And also with Uranus and Mercury, there is always a little bit of a danger of becoming scattered, right? So because Taurus rules anything over storage. So especially if you go to the shed or to your storage area, just be careful because you can easily lose something there as well, which might be very valuable for yourself. I would also say that if you have got some travel plans, then it could bring some unforeseen changes as well, and it might cause some type of uncomfortable feeling to it. So it's something you might want to be paying attention to. At the same time, we have got Mercury and squaring Saturn as well, which is going to be taking place on the 25th of April. Now, I don't think it's a real big problem actually between Mercury and Saturn. The reason being is because they both are cold and dry planets. So they have got something in common. Yes, square always brings us a little bit of a friction and tension. But, here it could really talk about some hard mental work, right? And maybe one of the danger of it is that I believe I can do everything on my own. And Mercury is at the end of the day ruling the sign of Gemini, which is a twin sign, right? So it means that learning how to delegate and learning how to share responsibilities with others might be important. We just need to do that with the right communication skills. So communicating the plans, the ideas, very important. And also sometimes it might be slightly bit difficult as well, right? Because with Saturn, which is limiting our belief system or limiting our thoughts, it can bring in some fears or negative thinking, or it can even create some type of misunderstandings. Or maybe it's a little bit harder to study or to tidy up your paperwork. So that Saturn wants you to have kind of a laser focus. So concentrating is something which is extremely key here. When it comes to making decisions or negotiations or some type of business transactions, Saturn says be a little bit patient about it. Make sure you seek out for someone who is trusted or who can give you a professional advice, right? When it comes to like legal matters, business matters, contractual stuff. You're going to have to pay attention to it a little bit more. And it also says that do not rely on other people's words, right? And also be careful with your own one as well, right? Because you can really say the wrong thing at the wrong time, which of course in Taurus can postpone things, or it can cause, some type of delays, really. Um, Also, Mercury is not only meeting Saturn and Uranus, but it's also going to be conjuncting Venus this week. And that's going to be happening also on the 25th of April. Now, maybe it's actually giving you the right time to tell someone that you love them, right? So it's all about verbalizing your feelings. But I know Venus doesn't represent your feelings, but it does talk about your love language. So maybe telling someone what you really expect from them. Like maybe imagine that your boyfriend is bringing you all these bunch of flowers and, but that's not your love language. Maybe your love language is something to do with appreciation, right? Or loudly saying out loudly that, you are beautiful and all those type of things. And that's what gives you some type of sense of accomplishment. So it's all about something um, also, communicating about the physical matters today could be very important. Such things like money, but also the way you touch me, for instance. Right? So but maybe it's the fact that someone is going to bring you a present and you might want, for instance, a handmade gift, right? Because Mercury rules over hand and Venus is something to do with the gifts element to it. And it's very much about a give and take type of thing. So it's not just about receiving, but giving something back as well. And maybe it's just love and appreciation to someone. It's a brilliant day to pay compliments or give an invitation to someone, or even to give and receive money from others as well. So if, let's say, a friend of yours, Mercury, an acquaintance, Mercury, owes you money, then maybe this is the day when you actually get that back. Also, brilliant day for any type of artistic and creative skills. Those can be enhanced very, very well. Maybe you can do something with your hands or even with your voice as well. So some craftiness here, the craft element of Mercury and Venus conjunction could be really bringing in stuff. Very good for business transactions, very good for trading and or negotiating, pretty much favored today because it does give kind of a pleasant and smooth communication style, or it gives an eye to bargain things as well. You can even settle some disputes or arguments today if you have got one, because you can really be confident about your feelings and you can verbalize those, what hurt you and what not. Very good day actually to sign a contract as well. If you are craving for having more friends, brilliant day to get out there and make some friends for yourself as well. So it does give an increased social interaction. And maybe it can even, if you have got, for instance, you want to be singing, your voice can be quite mesmerizing today. So brilliant for asking out someone as well for a date, for instance, but also just to improve your friendships and improve your relationship with your loved ones. Brilliant. Now, apart from Mercury, we also have got a couple of other events going on. And that really much relates to Venus. So we had our Mercury conjunction to Uranus. We also have got Venus conjunct in Uranus as well, and that's going to be taking place on the 23rd. Now, Uranus always brings excitement and some type of changes. So maybe it's going to be a change to your love or money matters. So maybe there is an increased need for stimulation by your loved ones, or maybe you just want your relationship to go in a different flow, or maybe this is the day when Venus in Taurus is very kind of reluctant of spending money. Sometimes now that Uranus can speed things up, and all of a sudden I want this dress, I want that garden tool, I want this makeup kit and so forth. So things your financial spending can be a little bit more heightened actually. But going back to the relationship level, maybe actually you feel that the relationship becomes a little bit stagnant, or it's too like about routines. And we want a little bit of a shake-up energy. We want a little bit of a rebel within that relationship. We want to do something risky. What came to my mind was actually the other day, I was watching a film called Yes Day with Jennifer Garner. And it was really a Venus in Taurus and like trine Jupiter type of feeling to me, because they were doing fun stuff, right? And this Venus conjunction to Uranus really could talk about an increased need to do something fun, right? We're having some type of thrill in our life. And this is a brilliant day to do something, especially, for instance, people who are in the UK at the moment, where things have started opening up. Maybe this is a brilliant day to go for a fun fair type of things, for instance, right? But also, um, if you are planning to buy a dress or something related to fashion, cosmetics, or jewelries, then it's actually a brilliant time to make those purchases. Just watch out for your budget, right? Because it could bring some type of financial windfalls as well for you. Great. So, and at the same time, we've got Venus squaring Saturn as well. So, this is exactly what it's talking about. We said Venus conjunct in Uranus, but square in Saturn at the same time within that 3-day period between the 23rd to the 25th. So, it does again bring in some boredom within the relationship. So it definitely talks about the need to kind of shake things up a little bit, right? Maybe some frustration is coming from any type of delays or shyness in the relationships, or maybe there is a little bit of a fear of criticism also, right? So I don't want to be criticized by my partner. I just want to create some type of harmony, right? Maybe this is the day when we want to be spending a little bit more time together rather than, more time alone rather than together, right? This could bring sometimes a little bit of a relationship drama as well. So we might be feeling a little bit more depressed or lonely on the around the 25th, maybe just because of the how our normal life for the humans are, going on at the same time. Maybe we just want some peace in our life, right? Also, money can be a little bit tight with that transit. So remember, on the 23rd, we might be spending plenty of money. And on the 25th, we realize that money is tight. So we don't have anything to waste. We don't have any other resources to actually use anymore, right? So that's why we need to be careful on the financial department. Maybe this is the day when we don't want to be doing fun. We want to be a little bit more lazy, really. But it does talk about the hard work you need to put into the relationship department, or even how you relate with your career, or how you relate to your boss or to your co-workers as well at the same time. This is a time when you have to seriously think about what you truly value. So it's not about ignoring some of the responsibilities, especially when it comes to the loved ones. It might be, the fact that you feel a little bit low. So allow others to come and then give you a hug, for instance, because you might be in a need for more love in your life. By the way, there is also Mars, who has entered the sign of Cancer on the 23rd, but I've already made a video about that. So if you're unsure how to approach that, then I recommend listening to that video. I broke it down for all the 12 signs as well. And, I would like to also mention that the Venus square Saturn, don't forget, we also have got Mercury Venus conjunction going on at the same time. So altogether, it's brilliant to talk about your love language with your partner. Well, I hope you have enjoyed this video, and if you did so, you know what to do. Press like, ring the notification bell, share the video with others, and all those lovely things so that the channel can grow and then I can come up with even more material for you. Thank you for your attention and have a blessed week, everyone. Bye-bye.